Hello! I'm glad to welcome you to the channel. Today, I've prepared a digest of the latest news from the world of artificial intelligence for you. So make yourself comfortable, and let's get started. In today's episode, we're diving into a massive legal victory for ethics as Anthropic takes on the Pentagon, a major strategic shift from the White House that could change how AI companies operate forever, and the shocking news that OpenAI is pulling the plug on its highly anticipated video generator, Sora. We'll also look at NVIDIA's latest hardware beast and why China is winning the price war in the API market. The ethical wall, Anthropic versus the Pentagon. Our lead story today is a landmark ruling that could define the relationship between Silicon Valley and the military for decades. A federal judge has officially backed Anthropic in its legal standoff with the U.S. Department of Defense. The conflict began when the Pentagon pressured the company to provide its latest Claude models for the development of autonomous weapon systems. Anthropic, staying true to its constitutional AI framework, flatly refused, arguing that their terms of service strictly prohibit lethal kinetic applications. The court's decision to uphold this refusal is a massive win for corporate autonomy in the AI era. It suggests that even under the guise of national security, the government cannot force a private AI lab to violate its core safety principles. This is a fascinating turn of events because we've seen Google and Microsoft face internal employee revolts over military contracts like Project Maven in the past. However, Anthropic is the first to take this battle to the federal level and win based on its built-in ethical architecture. It sets a precedent where safety first isn't just a marketing slogan, but a legally defensible business model. One has to wonder, though, if this will push the Pentagon to lean even harder on more militaristic-friendly contractors, potentially creating a divide between ethical AI and tactical AI. How long can a company stay neutral when the stakes of global defense are this high? A new shield, the White House Framework 2026. Moving from the courtroom to the Capitol, the White House has just unveiled Framework 2026, a new national AI strategy that is sending shockwaves through the industry. The most significant part of this policy is a proposed protection for developers that mirrors Section 230 for the Internet. Essentially, the federal government wants to shield AI creators from being held liable for the unpredictable things users do with their models. Furthermore, the framework aims to block individual states from passing their own strict AI regulations, centralizing power at the federal level to ensure the U.S. remains competitive against global rivals. It's clearly a move to deregulate and accelerate. By removing the fear of endless lawsuits, the government is giving companies like OpenAI and Meta a green light to innovate faster. However, by stripping away states of their power to regulate, the White House is also silencing local concerns about privacy and job displacement. It's a classic move fast and break things approach, but on a federal scale. Is this the necessary fuel for the American AI engine, or are we stripping away the very brakes that keep the industry from careening off a cliff? By the way, if you're enjoying this format and want to stay up to date with everything happening in the world of AI, please subscribe to the channel. It's free, and it lets me know that you're with us on this journey. Now, let's get back to the news. The death of Sora, OpenAI's sudden pivot. In a move that caught everyone by surprise, OpenAI has announced it is suspending the development of Sora, their revolutionary video generation tool. After months of hype and stunning demos, the project is being shelved to focus on what they are calling Code Red. This internal initiative is a desperate push to improve coding models and capture the enterprise market. OpenAI is currently locked in a brutal battle with Anthropic for corporate clients, and it seems they've realized that while AI-generated movies are cool, the real money is in writing software and managing business workflows. This feels like a cold shower for the creative community that was bracing for a Sora release. It shows that even a giant like OpenAI has limited resources. They are choosing utility over spectacle. They aren't just shifting developers, they are on a massive hiring spree, planning to double their staff to 8,000 people by the end of the year. That's about 12 new hires every single day. They're clearly moving away from being a research lab and transforming into a massive corporate software juggernaut. It makes me wonder if the magic of OpenAI is being traded for the stability of a spreadsheet. Is the dream of creative AI taking a backseat to the reality of B2B sales? The Claude economy and the delay of Avocado. While OpenAI pivots, Anthropic's Claude is quietly taking over the American workforce. A new economic index report shows that nearly 49% of all professional work tasks in the U.S. are now partially handled by Claude. What's even more interesting is the shift in behavior. Users are moving away from the chat interface and integrating Claude directly into automated API workflows. It's no longer about talking to a bot, it's about the bot living inside the company's infrastructure. On the other hand, Meta is hitting some speed bumps. Mark Zuckerberg has reportedly delayed the release of his next-generation model, codenamed Avocado, until at least May. Internal tests showed that while the model is super intelligent in terms of knowledge, it's still struggling with complex reasoning and logic. This is a refreshing bit of honesty from Meta. In a world where everyone is rushing to release half-baked models, taking the time to fix the brain of the AI is a smart, if frustrating, move. It seems the ceiling for reasoning is much harder to break through than anyone anticipated.
NVIDIA's Vera Rubin and the Chinese token war. We can't talk about AI without talking about the hardware that powers it. NVIDIA has just unveiled its Vera Rubin architecture. This is a beast designed specifically for models with trillions of parameters. The headline figure, it promises to cut the cost of training these massive systems by a factor of 10. If NVIDIA delivers, the barrier to entry for frontier models will drop significantly, potentially allowing smaller players to compete with the giants. However, the competition isn't just in the chips, it's in the pricing. Over on OpenRouter, Chinese models like GLM and Kimi have officially overtaken American models in total token consumption for the first time. How? Through aggressive price cutting. They are effectively dumping tokens at a loss to gain market share. It's a classic strategy, and it's working. Western developers are flocking to these models because they are good enough and significantly cheaper. This price war could force American labs to rethink their entire monetization strategy. Are we heading toward a future where AI intelligence is a race to the bottom in terms of price? Summary and the big picture. Today, we've seen a massive shift in the AI landscape. We've gone from the excitement of creative tools like Sora to a gritty reality of legal battles, federal deregulation, and intense corporate competition. The honeymoon phase of AI feels like it's ending, and the industrial phase is beginning. We are seeing a world where ethics are being tested in court, where the US government is shielding big tech to win a global race, and where the cost of thinking is dropping every single day. That's all for today. Thank you for staying with us until the end. If this update was helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, which of today's stories surprised you the most? Is it the death of Sora or the legal win for Anthropic? I read every single comment. See you in the next episode.